Hey YouTube, how you doing today? Thank you for joining me on Minority Boss. Today we're going to talk about conflict and conflict resolution. Encountering conflict as a minority. Disclaimer again, I'm not racist. We're not promoting races by any means. Just sharing my story as a minority in the workplace. If you look at research, the facts are the facts. Minorities are underrepresented in the workplace. Well, in terms of leadership, right? The workplace is more diverse than ever. But in leadership, upper echelon roles, minorities are underrepresented, and that's research. So we have to keep that in mind. And research also says that the dominant male, the dominant white male, is the prototype in these upper echelons. So being mindful of that, I think we have to consider that when we're dealing with conflict. And I'll explain what I'm talking about in a minute. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure that I stay on track. That if we are minorities, then we're not part of that in group. We're part of the out group. So that means we're not privileged to say and do as much as our white counterparts. Others can get away with stuff that we might not can get away with. I'm gonna give you an example. It's just like family members. You have your family members. You can talk noise. You can talk junk about your family members. But if somebody else says something about them, it's a problem because they're not part of that in group. They're not part of the good old boys, so to speak. Here's an example. I remember when I first started out in the corporate world, I had said something or done something, and I got reprimanded for it. But somebody else did the same thing, and no one said anything about it. So one of my coworkers said, well, they can get away with that. They've been here for a long time, or they know this person, or they know that person. Remember that in-group, that connection, the good old boy club. So they're able to get away with that. So we have to be mindful of that too when we're dealing with conflict, right? We have to be mindful of the environment that we're in. And we have to know when to pick and choose our battles. And when we choose a battle, we have to know and understand how to approach them. Now, I got reprimanded years ago when I first started, but later on, we were in a meeting and I just got totally upset and I walked out and slammed the door. At that point, I didn't care what happened because I was so upset because I felt like upper management kept pushing and kept pushing, kept picking and kept pushing. This had gone on for 2 years, and when we had this meeting, I just blew up. Well, I had been with the company for like maybe 13 years and kind of really proven myself. Still was a minority, right? And I just said, oh my gosh, I'm going to get fired for this here, but I don't care. But no, needless to say, I didn't, right? That was my first time actually blowing up. Maybe they considered that. Maybe they considered my tenure. Maybe they considered proven track record. See, all those things. So I had a little stability there. So we have to be mindful when I say choose your battles and then how to fight your battles. Think about those things. I mean, if you're just coming in and you're causing trouble, or you're not handling conflict in the proper manner, then you can be perceived as a troublemaker, or and then it could cause some problems, especially if you're just coming in this thing. But even being in there a long time, being in the workplace a long time, you still have to be mindful. I still understand the world in which I operate. I had another person as a manager they were working with. This was a Hispanic guy. And I always tell my people, when you send emails, make sure you don't respond in the heat of the moment, because sometimes when we respond with emotions, because emails can be offensive sometimes. And many times we misconstrue them because we don't understand the tone of them. And we actually get on the phone with the person who sent the email. It's like a whole different story. It's like, I felt like you meant it this way in email. When I talk to you on the phone, it's different. That's why it's so important to communicate. But anyways, to make a long story short, this Hispanic employee that worked for me had sent an email in the heat of the moment. and then suffered some ramification. It went up to higher up and it was forwarded to some other people. That's why you have to be mindful, because you don't know where these emails end up. I always tell my people, look, if you get an email, you get upset, let's go talk about it, cool off, de-escalate. Do not send an email while you're upset, because you'll regret it. You know, it's like pulling the trigger. Once you shoot the gun, there's no turning back. Once you hit that submit button, that's it. Church is out. So needless to say, he sent the email in the heat of the moment, and then eventually was let go. Now, he wasn't terminated specifically for that moment. He had been doing that before, come to find out. This was just the straw that broke the camel's back. We have to respond to conflict with emotional intelligence. Yes, I know they can make you mad, but at the end of the day, we have to represent ourselves in a professional manner. Thus, stand on payroll, right? That's the name of the game. We want to keep our job, so we don't want to do anything that will cause us to be misrepresented, and we don't want to do anything that causes us to be terminated. So conflict resolution, you know, as managers, we have to learn how to de-escalate. You know, when we're dealing with people, we have to learn how to not wear our emotions on our shoulders, because people will rub you the wrong way, right? I mean, you can say things and, you know, and people, you can be firm and direct, but be professional at the same time. All right, friends, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. That's all I have to say on the matter. If you have any questions, if you have any comments about it, like the video, just starting out. So subscribe if you like. If you like these videos, I'll be sending these out every Monday. Today is Tuesday. I was real busy. I didn't make one Monday. So if you don't get it, I tried to post on Mondays, but if you don't get them on Mondays, you will certainly get them on Tuesday. Thank you for supporting Minority Boss, and we'll see you next week.